Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and join our Facebook community for epic weekly giveaways. What's up, Airsofters? Believe it or not, the VSR-10 isn't the only worthwhile airsoft sniping platform. There do exist other rifles out there that break the mold of the hunting rifle look and bring some freshness to the sniping scene. The CYMA CM.708 is one such rifle. Like many modern tactical rifles, this one has, at its core, a system that's modeled after the venerable Remington 700 action. So the controls are very familiar with the safety right behind the bolt, which is, unfortunately, right hand only. Sorry, guys. The big box magazine underneath is, sadly, just for looks and is non-removable. The actual airsoft magazine is located just forward of that, similar to most other airsoft snipers. Now, while this may annoy some who enjoy realism, the fact of the matter is that it's just a reality of many airsoft sniper systems. In order to fit the cylinder and the hop-up unit and everything else, that's where the magazine gets placed. Now, there are other systems which feed the BBs from a more realistic magazine location that utilizes a feed ramp and then up into the hop-up unit. This style loads the BB directly into the loading chamber, which is efficient and reliable. The sacrifice, however, is the slightly less than realistic magazine location. This rifle uses a 40-round proprietary magazine. They're still very slim and don't lose their BBs easily like many VSR-10 style mags do, so that's really nice. As you might have noticed, the stock on the CM.708 is mounted on a buffer tube. So if you wanted to, you could remove the factory included pieces and run a rifle stock of your choosing, which I think is a really nice feature. However, the factory included stock is adjustable for length of pull as well as cheek riser adjustment. And I think out of the box, this is a really nice stock for what you get. And way out front on the muzzle is a massive mock muzzle brake, which would no doubt mitigate recoil on the real thing. But of course, in airsoft, it just looks really cool. Definitely looks like it means business. But not like the business like, I'm gonna reach out to you on Facebook and talk to you about my latest multi-level marketing scheme. Like, not that kind of business, or like suit and tie, but more like, I'm gonna wreck you on the airsoft field, serious business kind of business. On both the stock and the front end, you have QD sling mount points on either side, making it even easier to sling this out of the way when you need to use a secondary or traverse some obstacle on the field. Internally, this rifle is largely based on the APS-2 system of parts, with the piston, cylinder, spring, and spring guide all measuring very close to APS-2 spec. The trigger box has a 90-degree engagement with the piston, and it has a stiff but clean brake. Now, personally, I found the trigger pull to be a little stiff. It does have a definite wall. As you can see, there is some take-up and then a hard wall. And despite its stiffness, it has a really crisp brake and it's really predictable, which makes follow-up shots and repeating the same shot over and over again really easy. The hop-up chamber is unique and has a really cool feature. Double lever arms instead of just one. They can be adjusted by removing the magazine. Now, each of these correspond to 2 set screws inside the magazine well, which allow you to adjust for slight left or right spin on your shots. Now, that's pretty cool. There aren't a whole lot of sniper rifles that do that. It's not a very common system. That said, this hop-up design does have its limits. An O-ring holds the arms down, applying pressure to the bucking and delivering hop. The strength of this O-ring will determine the pressure that the bucking can deliver, so be mindful of this factor when trying to loft heavier BBs. Being spring powered, the bolt is going to take a little bit more effort than a CO2 or green gas powered sniper rifle. And with that said, because of the 90-degree piston engagement, you need to pull the bolt all the way back to get it to fully engage. That click tells you that it's fully engaged. If you short stroke it, you're going to get double feeding and your trigger won't be set to pull the trigger for your shot. Not a huge negative, just make sure that when you're racking the bolt, you come all the way back, all the way forward, seat it, and then fire. Now, this fact is made evident when cycling this puppy, as the installed spring puts out just about 500 FPS, right at the limit of most fields. The bucking and barrel are both AEG spec, which means our hop mods will work very well, and aftermarket barrels are plentiful. There are 2 inner barrel spacers in the rifle, which aids in eliminating flex and vibration during shots, improving accuracy and precision. Which, thanks Mr. McClure, they're 2 different things. He was my high school physics teacher. In our testing, we fired the CYMA.708 at both 100 and 200 feet. The 100-foot targets were no problem at all for the 708, easily placing hits on both a 6-inch plate and our EMG professional silhouette targets. Out at 200 feet, the spread grew a little bit, but it was still able to reliably hit a body-sized silhouette target. In both tests, we fired 0.40 gram BBs, which is right at the upper limit of the hop-up unit's adjustment range. A good alternative with a bit more room for hop adjustment would be a 0.32 gram or 0.36 gram BB. It gives you a little bit more variability when it comes to wind and, shifting things around, and you might even get a little bit more distance out of them because you're not at the upper limit of the hop-up's range. One other little note, the bolt handle is screwed on with a threaded post as part of the main bolt assembly. And you can get it pretty tight just by tightening by hand, but over time, as you're racking it, this will loosen up. If you don't like this spinning on you, you could use some blue Loctite to lock that in place. Personally, I kind of like it swiveling. I just have to remind myself to retighten it so that it doesn't fall off on me on the field. If you're looking for a capable, well-balanced sniper rifle that breaks with the same old looks of other airsoft sniper rifles, then the CYMA CM.708 is the perfect rifle to get you into airsoft sniping or add to your airsoft arsenal. You can check it out right here on our website at Evike.com. Thanks for watching. The sacrifice, however, is less than realistic magazine location. Oh man.
Sacrifice, however.
Yeah, I'm trying.
No worries.
Thanks for watching. I'm a businessman, businessman, doing business, man.